Brownsville, you really had to have a nickname, right? You know, your name was not good enough. You definitely had to have something else. So if you could tell us about your nickname, and then some other characters in the neighborhood, and what their nicknames were. You know?
I hope I could remember. I told you some of them, but one of my friends was called the Mensch.
Okay, why was he the Mensch?
He always acted like a big shot. You know, he always wore a hat and a tie, and he had an air about him, especially when we were going. We used to break into dances and pick up girls, you know, and he was always the Mensch. You know, he always was the one who was there first. There was another one, we called him the Shadow, because he was a thin guy, and he always used to shadow everybody around. He used to follow everybody around. And my name was Ya.
That's what?
Y-U-M, Ya. And the reason, I told you I was very heavy at one time, and they called me Jumbo. There was a Disney movie called Jumbo. Jumbo was an elephant, a baby elephant. And they used to call me Jumbo. And then, as I got older, I got a little bit thinner, they called me Jump. They cut it down to Jump. And I used to go out with a girl that lisped a lot. And instead of the J, she couldn't say, she used to say Y. Instead of jump, she used to say young. And from that day on, it stuck, and I was called Young. To this day, I have a lot of friends that still live on the east coast of Florida. They call me Young. To this day, I don't think they know my real name. There was one that we called the Vulture.
Yeah. Tell about the Vulture. Yeah.
And
what did the Vulture do?
He just jumped on everybody. You know, he just. Whenever we were talking, he would jump in. And so that was the Vulture. And well, I don't know if I should mention my friend Horny Honig.
Yes.
I don't have to tell you why he was called that.
He wants to get right to the good stuff.
I guess we started, there were a lot of places where there were dances, where they ran Coney Island, ran some dances. I still remember the name of the place. It was called the Gay Hearts.
Right.
And a few other places. We used to go to dances a lot. And I think we were like 15, 16, 17. Especially when I came back from the Navy when I was 19 and 20. Did a lot of going to dances, going out with girls, going on blind dates. We had our own club room. We rented the basement of a lot of us, a lot of people, a lot of kids rented basements in private homes. And we bought all the furniture and furnished it. This is where we hung out.
What was your club called?
I can't remember the
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the club. But we used to bring in women and bottles and played cards down there. It was just where we hung out.
Right, and the parents didn't really,
Well,
they didn't have anything to say about it.
We lived on the streets. The parents, we just came home for food. And sleeping. We lived in the streets. The parents had nothing to do with us. We took care of ourselves, really. What?
Lisa,
Did girls have as much freedom though, or were they more watched over by the parents?
Oh no, they had a lot of freedom. A lot of freedom. Everybody was free. I mean, they did their things, really.
They also hung out in the street.
Yeah, they used to hang out in corners and go out, dance. It was really, really great. We had a lot of fun. Hoffmans. Hoffmans was a restaurant.
Okay.
It was the kind of restaurant where we all met after hours.
Open only.
And whenever we went on dates, whenever we would drop off our dates, we would all meet in Hoffmans. It was a great restaurant. Everybody was on Pitkin Avenue.
Which is the main street of Brownsville. Pitkin Avenue is
the
main street goes through Brownsville and then through East New York.
Yeah.
So Hoffman's is first floor or second floor?
It was the ground floor.
Ground floor, right.
It was a big restaurant. You would walk in and you would get a ticket there. And the ticket was in a machine. You put your hand in, pull out the ticket. The ticket had a lot of numbers on it. And whatever you bought, they punched a number, which is what you were going to pay. So, you know, you can go in there and for 5 cents, you can have coffee and sit there all day if you want. Older men sitting in there, and this is where they were hanging out. And this is where we used to meet after dates. And we used to tell each other just what went on. And, you know, before we would get to where our friends were sitting at the tables, either we would go like this, which if it was a good day, we'd go like that. So they knew right away what the date was like. And this is where we met. It was a great meeting place. And across the street was a big pool room. No, that wasn't Jigsy's. I forget the name of that pool room.
What happened in the pool room? Was the crowd like in the pool room?
Again, this is another place where we were able to make $0.25 an hour by racking balls in the pool room. You know, when they finish a game, we used to help rack up the balls for them. And they used to throw us some money doing that. So we always had a way of making a few cents.
So tell us about those characters.
I had a friend who I sponsored. We used to go from place to place because we couldn't really go into our own neighborhood anymore. But his routine, he put on a yarmulke and a Yiddish paper, the Fovitz, and he would sit in the pool room watching them play pool. And he was saying in his Yiddish accent, "Can I play with you?" And they said, "Sure." And he would let them win, and then before you knew it, he had like $15, $20 that he had won from them. And I sponsored him, and we went from place to place because we couldn't go to the neighborhood anymore. We went into different neighborhoods until they knew us and we couldn't play anymore. But he was great. He just looked the part. I set up the money for him.
Set up the money for him? No. Explain what set up the money for him means.
I backed him. I backed him in the money.
So in other words,
I had $10, so I put up the $10.
Yeah, because you had to go into a game with money.
Yeah.
So it's pool hustling. It's like this is how pool hustling is done. Is you take somebody who you believe in, and you send them in there with your money.
You played.
Yeah, go ahead. No, explain it.
You played money balls like the ace 5, 10, ace 5, 8, 10, and 15 are money balls. And if you hit those balls in the pockets, let's say you win $0.25, something like that. And each ball you hit in adds up. And that's where all the money comes in. Or else you play, I think there were, 15 balls or 12 balls, and whoever hits all the balls in first, they bet 50 cents on or something. So that's how you play pool in those days.
Exactly.
I don't know how to do it today. I haven't played pool in a long time.
What would be funny is to see if you can find your friend.
He's probably shot by